Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Boskias, and I'm going to go ahead and be teaching you surface area, unit, and concept. First, we're going to go ahead and go over is our vocabulary for this lesson. The first vocabulary word we have is surface area, and surface area is defined as the area needed to cover all the faces of a three-dimensional object. Now, the next word we have is net, and a net is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object in which, 1, every face of the object is represented. 2, if you cut out the net and fold it along the edges, you'll be able to fold it up into a three-dimensional object. Now the nets look like this over here. These are just different nets. Now the next word we have here is polyhedron. Now polyhedron is a closed surface that encompass the polynomial regions. Now the next word we have is face. Now a face is defined as each of the separate polynomial regions of the polyhedron. Now all that means is just each of these individual shapes that you see on the net are the faces. And last word we have is the area. Now the area is the extent or measurement of the surface. So the area would be just individual, each individual face has an area. Total would be the surface area. Now that we went ahead and got over our vocabulary words, let's go ahead and move on to our math steps. The first math step would be you read the question, find the polyhedron and the net you are using. The second step would be to find the area of each face of the net. And remember to pay attention to each of the face because they can be different shapes and you would use the different areas depending on the shape that it has. Third one is once you have the area for each face, you add up all the areas together and that would give you the surface area. Like I said before, you add up each and every individual area will give you the surface area of the object. And the last but not least, the fourth step of the math steps is to double check your work and write down your answer. Okay class, so let's go ahead and move on to our first example. Over here we have a cube broken down into the net, as you can see. We see here that each side of the cube, because it is a square, have equal sides. So just because this one's blank or this part's blank, we can automatically assume, because it is a square, that there are 5s on all the empty spots. So let's go ahead and go to the first step. Like I said, is to read the question and find the polyhedron and the net we are using, which is this one right here. Now we will have to find each of the area for each face of the net, and to remember to pay attention to each shape. So like I said though, the only shape we have right now are squares. So each area would be 5 times 5. So let's go ahead and get that down. It would be 5 times 5, and that is of course 25. Now, if you see, like I said, each square is 5, so we can count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you want to write it out, you can just write it out 6 times. So it'll be 5 times 5, 25, and that's 4 more times. Let's go ahead and get that down. Okay, now that we have all the areas for all the faces on the cube, we'll go ahead and add up together the total for each area. So we have 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. And that gives us a total area of 150. So the surface area for this cube will be 150. With that being said, guys, does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay, so let's go ahead then and move on to the second example. Now, the second example, we have this shape right here. We have a triangle. We have 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. Now with the triangles, it can be a little difficult. Remember I told you in the second step to go ahead and pay attention because they can have different shapes and use different areas. So let's go ahead and write this one down. First step, again, is to go ahead and find the polyhedron and the net that we are using. So we're using this one. Second step is to find the area of each face of the net and remember to pay attention to the shape. So let's go ahead and first write down that. Let's do the triangle first. For triangle, it's 1/2, so I could use 0.5, or you can put 0.5, times the base, which is 11, times the height, which is 5. Now the base times height times 0.5, that will give you 27.5. Now as you can see here, this triangle has nothing written around it. As we can see though, because it has nothing written on it, we can assume that each side is the same. So we'll have the same length here, 5, and the same height here, 5, and then the same length, 11. So we can just go ahead and write that down again for the second triangle. 0.5 times 11 times 5, which again gives us 27.5. So now that we have the two triangles out of the way, let's go ahead and get the area for the 3 rectangles. We can see that this rectangle in the middle has the length as 11, and the width as 11 and the length 14. So we do 11 times 14. That gives us 154. So the area to this rectangle right here will be 154. Okay, class, so now we have the 2 remaining outside rectangles. This length right here is 9. This length right here, as you can see, again, is still 14. That's where we get the 14, so it'll be the same over here. So 9 times 14 . 9 times 14 will give us 126. Now, because we have 2, if you want, you can write it again. 9 times 14, 126. Okay, now that we have all the surface area, all the areas added up, we have all the areas, 27.5 for the 2 triangles, 154 for the middle rectangle, and 126 for the 2 outside ones. From there on, we can move to step number 3. And it says once you have the area for each face, add up all the areas together to get the surface area. Just again like we did for number 1. So we do 27.5 plus 27.5 plus 154 plus 126 plus 126. And if it helps you, because you have the 0.5s, you can go ahead and just put 0.0 on these. Kind of fill up the place value. So 27.5 plus 27.5 plus 154 plus 126 plus another 126 will give us a total of 461 class. So that means that the surface area for this right here, this net, would be 461. Now, just go ahead and go to the last step, double check your work, and then write the answer. So just again, we can go ahead and check our work. Looking at the 5 here, so we have the 5 right there for the triangle, and the 11. And then again, when you're doing the area of a triangle, you have to do 1/2 times base times height, so that's where the 0.5 comes in. And again, 0.5 times 11 times 5 gives us 27.5. Now, again, we have 2 triangles, so same equation gives us again 27.5. The 11 times 14 give us 154, and the two outside rectangles, 9 times 14 gives us a 126, 2 times for each one, and then again adding them up all together gives us the total surface area of 461. At this time, does anybody else have any questions? Okay, class, then let's go ahead and move on to the last one. This cuboid right here, this net. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because you can see that each of them have, each rectangle has different lengths. So you can see that these two rectangles right here are the same. Length of width times 10, length times 15 is 15, same as here, 10 and 15. So these two would be the same. These two right here, both 9 and 15. So these two would be the same. And then these two on the outside would be the same as well, 5 times 10. So let's go ahead and get that down. So we already did step number 1 by finding our questions. So let's go ahead from step number 1, we can go ahead and move on to step number 2, which is again defining the area of each face. So let's go ahead and start, let's start from left to right. So 15 times 10. That is 150. Now again, we have this rectangle 2 times right here as well. So 15 times 10, we do that 2 times. We can just go ahead and write that down already. 15 times 10 is 150. Now, let's go ahead and move on to this one right here. We have 9 as the width, and the length is 15. So we have 9 times 15, class. And that would give us 135. Everybody see where I got that from? The 9 right here is the length. The width of that rectangle is still 15. So it will be 9 times 15. And again, this side over here is exactly the same as this side. So the 9 times 15 again would be 135. Now, you know, if you just want to write the answer 2 times when you're adding them up together, you could do that, or if you want to do all the work and show it, if that's easier for you, you can do that as well. So far we have 2 and 4, so we have 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. So the 2 left are the top and the bottom, and all it is 5 times 10, 2 times. And 5 times 10, as everybody knows, class, is 50. Let's go ahead and write that down 2 times for both of them. Okay, so now that we have the surface area for all the faces, I'm sorry, not surface area, the area of all the faces, we can go ahead and move on to step number 3. Once you have the area for each face, add up all the areas together to get the surface area. So we're looking at 150 plus 150 plus 135, 2 times, plus 50 plus 50. So if you want to, you could do this as well. Simple. 150 plus 150 is 300. 50 is 100. 135 plus 135 is it's 470. I'm sorry, 270. I don't know where I got that 4 from. 270, class. So you can see it's a little bit easier like this. So now we just have the hundreds. We can do zeros. This one, 7. And we have 3, 4, 5, 6. 670. We have the surface area for this net right here would be 670. Now again, let's go ahead and go to step number 4. We want to double check our work and write out the answer. So again, just go ahead and count the sides. 15 times 10 right here is 150. We have 2 rectangles right there. So that's 15 times 10 2 times. And then we have 9 times 15 is 135. We have that one. And again, same one over there, 2 times. And the last two, 5 times 10. We have them right there, that's 50. And that's 2 times. So we have all the correct surface areas. And again, let's go ahead and add them up. 150 plus 150 plus 135 plus 135 plus 50 plus 50 give you a total of 670. So the surface unit for this net right here would be 670. Now class, with that being said, does anybody have any other questions? Okay guys, so what we're going to go ahead and do now is open up our workbooks to page 34, and we go ahead and complete questions number 1 through 10. Thank you guys.